Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Friday, March 25th, 2022. Friday podcast day. Let's get rolling. Sweet 16, and a look ahead to tonight's and the Elite 8 games for Saturday. The women's Sweet 16 gets underway tonight. We have a TBC game to look at. An NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball spring training from yesterday. Look ahead to today in the weekend. Major League Soccer weekend. Golf, third baseman rankings for baseball. Recap of the Masked Singer. News and notes. And best bet. Oh, and NASCAR too. I can't forget about NASCAR on the docket as well. All right, let's start with college basketball. Men's side. We'll recap the Sweet 16 games from yesterday. Look at tonight and Saturday, because we don't know Sunday yet. West Region, Sweet 16, 4-seed Arkansas over 1-seed Gonzaga, 74-68. So Gonzaga, disappointing finish yet again as Arkansas moves on. South Region, 2-seed Villanova over 11-seed Michigan, 63-55. West Region, 2-seed Duke over 3-seed Texas Tech, 78-73, as Coach K's retirement tour is still going. In South Region, 5-seed Houston upsets 1-seed Arizona 72-60 as Kelvin Sampson's club advances to the Elite 8 again. All right, tonight we have 4 games. 7 o'clock or 7:09 CBS, 15-seed St. Peter's and 3-seed Purdue from the Wells Fargo Center in the East Region. My projection is Purdue 17 total, 138 and 19/20. And it is 12.5 and 134. I'm going to go the over in this game only because I think St. Peter's and Purdue are just going to put up an offensive show. Purdue, I think, will win by double digits. Purdue and the over is a good same-game parlay thing. So I like the over in that one. Game number 2 of the night, 7:29 TBS, 4-seed Providence, 1-seed Kansas from the United Center, Midwest region. My projection is Kansas 6.5 total, 142 and 3/10. And it is Kansas by 7.5, total of 141.5. So I go slight Providence for my pick here. Game number 3 tonight, 9:39 CBS, 18 North Carolina, 4-seed UCLA, East Region from Wells Fargo Center. My projection is UCLA by 3.25, total 145 and 3/20, and it is UCLA by 2, total 141.5. I like the over a lot. I think Carolina will score a lot of points, so UCLA. I think this will be a great game. In the last of the Sweet 16 games, for tonight, 9:59 on TBS, Midwest region from the United Center, 11-seed Iowa State, 10-seed Miami. It's amazing that one of these two teams are going to the Elite 8. My projection is Miami by 9, total 136 3/4. And it's only 2.5 and 133. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Miami. Everybody loves Iowa State because of the coach and some of the gritty guys on the roster. But I trust Jim Larinaga more than TJ Holzenberger. So I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Miami against Iowa State. Saturday Elite 8. 6:09 TBS, 5-seed Houston, 2-seed Villanova from Chase Center. My projection, not from the Chase Center, from the AT&T Center in San Antonio. My projection is Villanova by a half, total of 134 and 19/20. And it's Houston 2.5, total 128. I think the wrong team's favored. Give me Villanova plus 2.5 and plus 118. The guys that have been there, done that. There's nobody better, in my mind, in this half decade than Jay Wright. So give me Villanova getting the 2.5 against Houston. and the win outright plus 118. And Saturday, 8:49 on CBS, 4-seed Arkansas, 2-seed Duke, the Western Regional Final from the Chase Center. My projections: Duke by 6, total 145 and 17/20. And it's 3.5 and 146.5. I'm going to lay the 3.5 at Duke. I just think they're more talented than Arkansas. I love Eric Musselman and the job that he's done. But I think Paolo Banchero will lead the way for the Blue Devils to continue Coach K's last dance. And then the other Elite 8 games I think will end up being Purdue-Kansas, which would be a ton of fun. There would be some interesting subplots in that potential game between those two teams. I would project that matchup as a pick'em, by the way, between Purdue and... that would be a Final Four game, Purdue-Kansas. I meant to say Purdue-UCLA would be a very interesting regional final. I can't believe I just made that big of a boo-boo on the podcast. Because the two are next to each other. But yeah, UCLA and Purdue. That would be UCLA by 1.25. And on the other side, Miami and Kansas. Oof. That would be a larger projection here. But this would be the furthest Jim's gone with Miami, I would think, right? I don't think he's ever made it past the Sweet 16 with the Canes. Yeah, this would be Kansas by 9, which would be incredible. So I do think that Kansas and UCLA will join Villanova and Duke into the Final Four this year. But I could be wrong. You never know with the tournament, as we all know, each and every year. All right, now we'll move on to the women's side. We will look at the weekend's Sweet 16 games. Tonight's the first one. 7 o'clock ESPN, 5-seed North Carolina, against 1-seed South Carolina, Greensboro region from Greensboro Coliseum. My projection is South Carolina by 5.25. And it is 10.5 and 117.5. I'm taking North Carolina getting the 10.5. ESPN 2, Spokane region, 6-seed Ohio State, 2-seed Texas, Storm Spokane Arena. My projection is Ohio State by 1.5 as Texas 4.5, total 136.5. Give me Ohio State plus 4.5 and plus 176 outright. There's your big upset. 9:30 ESPN Spokane Arena, 4-seed Maryland, 1-seed Stanford in the Spokane region. My projection is Stanford 5.5 and 7.5 and 144.5. Give me Maryland getting the points to cover. And the last of the four tonight, 9:30 ESPN 2, Greensboro region, 10-seed Creighton, 3-seed Iowa State. Projection Iowa State by 3.25 is 5.5 and 141.5. So the line is large enough for me to take Creighton. And then Saturday, 11:30 ESPN, Bridgeport region, 5-seed Notre Dame, 1-seed NC State. My projection is NC State by 4.5. And it's 8.5 and 143.5. Give me Notre Dame in the points. 2 o'clock ESPN, Bridgeport region, 3-seed Indiana, 2-seed UConn. My projection is UConn by 6.75. And it's 8.5 and 125.5. So UConn's not a big enough favorite for me to take Indiana. So I'm going to go with the over. 4 o'clock ESPN 2, Wichita region, 4-seed Tennessee, 1-seed Louisville. My projection is Louisville by 1.75. And it's 7.5, 131. Give me Tennessee and all the points. And also in the Wichita region, last but not least, 10-seed South Dakota, 3-seed Michigan, My projections: Michigan by 8.25, and it's 4.5, 123.5. I'm going to lay the points at Michigan against South Dakota. I just think the Wolverines are more talented, obviously, than the Cinderella team in South Dakota. All right, now I'll move on to the TBC. We have one game this weekend. It is a quarterfinal matchup on Saturday, which is tomorrow, between Portland and Southern Utah. My projection is Southern Utah by 17, total 147 and 7/10. And it's 4 and 155. I'm going to lay the 4 at Southern Utah. That is a layup. Southern Utah is much better than Portland. I think that is an absolute layup. For sure. All right, now move on to the NBA. We will recap the games from yesterday and look ahead to a busy weekend coming up. Raptors over the Cavs, 117-104. Grizzlies over the Pacers, 133-103. Bucks over the Wizards, 114-102. Pelicans over the Bulls, 126-109. And the Suns over the Nuggets, 140-130. As the Suns clinched the 1 seed in the West in home court throughout the playoffs. 7 o'clock tonight, you have the Jazz and the Hornets. My projections, Utah by 1, total 219 and 2/5. And it is 3.5 and 229.5. That's a way under. Wizards Pistons, my projections, Wizards by 1 3/4, total 225.5. And it's Detroit by 4.5, total 221.5. Again, I forgot about Bradley Beal and his absence. And that would change this projection to Detroit by 3/4. And I'd still like Washington to cover the spread. Although I do like the over too, but I'm going to go with the Wiz. 7:30 NBA TV, Warriors Hawks. My projection is Atlanta by 2.5, total 218 3/4. That's 2.5 and 222 under. 8 o'clock, Knicks Heat. My projection is Heat by 11, total 220 and 4/5, and it is 7 and 215.5. Heat and over. Love them both. I'm going to go with the over because the Knicks tend to lose a lot of close games. So that's why betting against the Knicks has not worked. So I'm going to go over 215.5 instead. Mavs Timberwolves. My projection is Minnesota by 1 1/4, total 228 and 13/20. It's 2.5 and 228. Very close each way. But I'm going to go slightly into Dallas. 10 o'clock, Rockets Trailblazers. My projection is Houston by 3 1/4, total 220.5, and it's 3.5 and 235.5. Under. And last but not least, 10:30 NBA TV, 76ers Clippers. My projection is the Sixers by 8, total 217.5, and it's 5.5 and 221. Sixers and under is a good combination for a same game. But for the show purposes, I'm going to go with the under. Saturday, 5 o'clock, Spurs Pelicans, 7 o'clock, Kings Magic, 7:30 Pacers Raptors, 8 o'clock, Bulls Cavaliers, NBA TV, Nets Heat, Bucks Grizz, Thunder Nuggets at 9, and Rockets Blazers at 10. And then Sunday, 3:30, Knicks Pistons, 6 o'clock, Timberwolves Celtics, Warriors Wizards, 76ers Suns, 7 o'clock, Lakers Pelicans, 7:30, Hornets Nets, and on NBA TV at 7:30, you have the Jazz and the Mavericks. All right, now I'll move on to the NHL. We'll recap the games from last night, and we will look ahead to what's to come this weekend. All right. Bruins over the Lightning, 3-2. Panthers over the Habs, 4-3. Stars over the Canes, 4-3 in a shootout. Isles over the Red Wings, 5-2. Flyers over the Blues, 5-2. Wild over the Canucks, 3-2 in overtime. Senators over the Jets, 5-2. Oilers over the Sharks, 5-2. Golden Knights over the Preds, 6-1. And the Blackhawks over the Golden Knights, 4-3 in a shootout. Or, I'm sorry, the Blackhawks over the Kings. That's my mistake. Golden Knights killed Nashville, 6-1. Killed them. All right, 7 o'clock, you have the Capitals and the Sabres from Buffalo. Washington is minus 200. Buffalo plus 164. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 108. Unders minus 112. Caps minus 1.5 is plus 126. Buffalo plus 1.5 is minus 154. I'm going over 6.5 at minus 108. Game of the night on NHL Network. Penguins Rangers from Madison Square Garden. The biggest game, I think, of both these team seasons. This might be a round one preview. But at the same time, I think that Carolina's vulnerable enough to be passed in this division. The Penguins are minus 126 favorites. Rangers are plus 105. Over under 6. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. Pittsburgh minus 1.5 is plus 210. Rangers plus 1.5 is minus 265. Pittsburgh beat the Rangers earlier in the year 1-0. Rangers are home this time. I think they're going to get it. Plus 105. I don't know why they're a dog. I think Vegas doubts them too much, and Crosby and company get too much favoritism as a favorite. So, give me the Rangers plus 105 to win at home against the Penguins tonight. 8 o'clock, the Blue Jackets and the Jets. Jets minus 100, Blue Jackets plus 164, over under 6.5, overs minus 116, or 115, unders minus 105. Columbus plus 1.5 is minus 150, Jets minus 1.5 is plus 122. I'm going to go over 6.5 and minus 115. I think that's easy. 9 o'clock, Flyers, Avs. Avs minus 480, Flyers plus 360, over under 6.5, overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Flyers plus 2.5 is minus 134. Avs minus 2.5 is plus 110. I'm going over 6.5 at minus 114. And last but not least, Coyotes, Flames. Flames minus 450, Coyotes plus 340, over under 6, overs minus 122, unders even money. Coyotes plus 2.5 is minus 144. Calgary minus 2.5 is plus 118. I'm going to go with the under. I'm going to say that Markstrom plays a good game for Calgary tonight to keep Arizona off the scoreboard. All right, Saturday, 12:30, NHL Network. Islanders, Bruins. Lightning, Red Wings. 3 o'clock, ABC. Blackhawks, Golden Knights. 7 o'clock, Maple Leafs, Canadiens. Panthers, Senators. Devils, Capitals. Canucks, Stars. 8 o'clock, Hurricanes, Blues. Blue Jackets, Wild. 10 o'clock, Oilers, Flames. 10:30, Kraken, Kings. And Ducks, Sharks. Sunday, 2 o'clock, TNT, Lightning, Islanders. 5 o'clock, Sabres, Rangers. Red Wings, Penguins. 6 o'clock, Flyers, Predators. Avalanche, Wild. 7 o'clock, Panthers, Maple Leafs. Canadiens, Devils. And the Coyotes and the Jets. All right, Major League Baseball spring training. We will go over the results from yesterday, and we will look ahead to today and the weekend. Tigers over the Yankees 5-3 and 7. Twins over the Rays 7-1. Phillies and Pirates 3-3 tie and 5. Giants over the White Sox 9-6. Mariners over the Guardians 3-2. Royals over the Reds 5-4. Rangers over the A's 5-3. Dodgers and Rockies 6-6 tie. Angels over the Cubs 5-4. D-backs over the Brewers 10-3. Orioles over the Red Sox 8-5. Astros over the Nats 10-8. And the Mets over the Marlins 9-3. Braves, Blue Jays postponed. Today, 1 o'clock, Red Sox, Braves, Yankees, Phillies, Twins, Pirates, Nats, Cardinals, Orioles, Rays, Tigers, Blue Jays. 4 o'clock, Rockies, Cubs, Rangers, Royals, Brews, A's, Guardians, Giants, Angels, D-backs, Mets, Astros at 6. At 9, Padres, Dodgers. At 9:40, the White Sox and the Mariners. Saturday, 1 o'clock, Twins, Braves, Red Sox hosting the Rays, Phils at the Tigers, Blue Jays at the Yankees, Marlins, Cardinals, Nats, Mets, Angels, White Sox at 4, Athletics, Guardians, Reds, Giants, Rangers, Rockies, Mariners, Brewers, Cubs, Padres, 6 o'clock, Pirates, Orioles, and 11 o'clock. That's late. Dodgers, Royals. And Sunday, 1 o'clock, Tigers, Orioles, Astros, Marlins, Red Sox, Twins, Pirates, Yankees, Braves, Rays, Phillies, Blue Jays, Cardinals, Mets. 4 o'clock, Royals, Cubs, Rockies, Reds, White Sox, Dodgers, Mariners, A's, D-backs, Rangers, Giants, Angels, Guardians, Padres, Rockies, D-backs. Alrighty, Major League Soccer, we're going to go over what's to come for the weekend. And it should be a lot of fun. And we're actually going to do betting on the show today because we have some time. And we've had 4 weekends in the sport. So Saturday, 5 o'clock, we have Charlotte hosting Cincinnati. which is an interesting game. Charlotte's even money at home. Cincinnati's plus 230, and the draw is plus 230. Look at the table. Cincinnati's in 8th. Charlotte's at the bottom. I think this is a good place for a draw at plus 230. And plus, it's so early. And 7 o'clock, you have Kansas City hosting Salt Lake. Kansas City's minus 120. Salt Lake's 3-1. And draw is plus 240. Kansas City, disappointing start. Real Salt Lake is off to a great start. So I think it's really good value to take Real Salt Lake on the road at 3-1. And then on Sunday, on ESPN at 4 o'clock, you have Portland and Orlando. Portland's minus 120 at home. Orlando's plus 290 on the road. And the draw's plus 250. So Portland is off to a mediocre start. Orlando's pretty good. I like this Orlando team. I'm going to actually pick them here, plus 290, to get it done on the road at Portland, a team that's off to a sluggish start. All right, now we'll move on to golf. We will go over all the tournaments that are going on. We will start with Punta Cana. Tied for first at 6 under is Ben Martin and Adam Schenk. In third with 5 under is Graham McDowell. Tied for fourth with 4 under is Vincent Taylor, Kardec Afremont, and Grayson Sigg. Tied for 7th with 3 under, Nate Lashley, David Lingmerth, Alex Smalley, Thomas Detry, Hayden Buckley, and Jonathan Bird. Tied for 13th with 2 under is a pretty big tie. Vincent Whaley, DJ Tran, Brandon Hagee, Jason Duffner, Wyndham Clark, Tommy Gainey, Brock Stord, Andrew Novak, Chad Ramey, Seth Reeves, Ryan Moore, Dominic Bizzelli, Brandon Wu, and Bryson Nimmer. In a tie for 27th with 1 under, Joel Dahman, Scott Brown, Cam Piercy, Danny Willett, Sahith Thiglia, Sean O'Hare, Robert Garrigus, Trey Molinax, Hank Labodia, Tyler Duncan, Nate Taylor, Wesley Bryan, Martin Trainer, Chase Seifert, Sangil No, David Lipsky, and David Skins. In a tie for 44th at even, you have Mariano Gillick, Kevin Stadler, Rafael Campos, Bill Haas, Joshua Creel, Rick Lamb, Cam Thompson, Jonathan Vegas, George McNeil, Bo Van Pelt, Patrick Flavin, Andrew Filbert, and Ben Coles. Now I'm just going to go through notables. In a tie for 57th with 1 over, Adam Cook, Mark Hubbard, Cameron Hickok, Matthias Schwab, Tied for 74th with 2 over. Bryce Garnett, Hudson Swafford, Emiliano Grillo, Camilo Vegas, Patrick Rogers, Bo Hogg, Doc Redman, Roger Sloan. Tied for 93rd with 3 over. Rafa Cabrera, Kyle Stanley, Chasen Hadley. Tied for 107th with 5 over. Max McGreevy. And that's really it among notables for this tournament. And then WGC Dell. Thursday recaps. Group 1, John Rahm over Cam Young, 5-4. Patrick Reed tied Sebastian Munoz. Group 2, Con Marica tied Sergio Garcia. Jason Kokrak defeats Robert McIntyre, 3-2. Group 3, Sepp Straka defeats Will Zalatoris, 4-2. Victor Hovland defeats Cam Triangle, 2-1. Group 4, Seamus Power defeats Patrick Cantlay, 5-4. Sun Jam defeats Keith Mitchell, 5-3. Group 5, Matt Fitzpatrick defeats Ian Poulter, 4-2. Tommy Fleetwood defeats Scotty Scheffler, 2-1. Group 6, Justin Thomas defeats Mark Leachman, 5-4. Kevin Kisner defeats Luke List, 1-up. Group 7, Lucas Herbert defeats Xander Schauffele, 1-up. Takami Kainaya defeats Tony Finau, 1-up. Group 8, Justin Johnson defeats Matt Wolff, 4-2. Mackenzie Hughes defeats Max Homa, 2-up. Group 9, Lee Westwood defeats Bryson DeChambeau, 1-up. Richard Bland defeats Taylor Gooch, 1-up. Group 10, Corey Connors defeats Louis Olson, 2-1. Alex Loren defeats Paul Casey in concession. Group 11, Justin Rose defeats Jordan Spieth, 3-2. Adam Scott tied Keegan Bradley. Group 12, Billy Horschel defeats Tommy Hogue, 3-2. Minwoo Lee defeats Tommy Peters, 1-up. Group 13, Tyrell Hatton defeats Saiwoo Kim, 1-up. Daniel Berger defeats Kristen Ziedenhout, 2-1. Group 14, Joaquin Neiman defeats Russell Henley, 2-1. Kevin Na tied Maverick McNeely. Group 15, Abraham Ancer tied Brian Harmon. Bubba Watson defeats Webb Simpson, 1-up. And Group 16, Brooks Koepka defeats Harold Varner III, 2-1. And Shane Lowry defeats Eric Van Rooyen, 2-up. All right, now move on to NASCAR. I believe all 3 are racing this weekend. And they are from the Circuit of the Americas in Texas. So we'll start with trucks as we will go through the odds. So it's the XPL 225. In terms of odds, Kyle Busch is minus 140. John Hunter, Nemechek, Sheldon Creed are 7-1. At 12-1, you have Kaz Grala and Alex Bowman. 15-1, Grant Effinger. 16-1, Zane Smith and Ben Rhodes. 20-1, Chandler Smith. 25-1, Tyler Anker, Matthew Vendetto. 30-1 is Stuart Friesen, Matt Crafton. 40-1, Parker Kligerman, Carson Hocevar, Christian X. 71 is Ty Majeski. 80-1 is Tara Kraus. 100-1, Thad Moffitt, Tanner Gray. 151, you have Chris Wright, Colby Howard, Chase Purdy, Austin Wayne Self. 201 is Wayne Perkins. 251 is Jack Wood and Haley Deegan. 500-1 is Will Rogers, Tate Fogelman, Dean Thompson. 1,000-1, Tyler Hill, Timmy Hill, Spencer Boyd, Samuel LeCompte, Matt Jaskell, Logan Brandon, Lawless Allen, and John Atwell. For my pick to win this race, kind of like Kaz Grala at 12-1. I think Kaz Grala has a good shot here. So I'm going to go with Kaz Grala 12-1 to win XPL 225. And at 4:30, right after trucks tomorrow, you have Xfinity race at COTA. The Pit Boss 250. A 2-1 favorite is AJ Allmendinger. 3-1 Ty Gibbs. 12-1 Justin Alger, Daniel Hemrick. 14-1 Ross Chaston, Noah Gregson, Cole Custer, Brandon Jones. 20-1 Miguel Pilato, Bubba Wallace. 25-1 Sheldon Creed. 30-1 Sam Meyer, Riley Herbst, Landon Castle, Josh Barry. 40-1 Austin Hill. 51 Jade Buford. 71 Mayette Snyder. 80-1 Parker Chase, Jeremy Clements. 90-1 Brent Moffitt. 100-1 Anthony Alfredo, Alex Labb, Will Rogers. 250-1 with Ryan Sieg, Preston Pardis, Jeb Burton, Brandon Brown, Scott Heckert. 500-1 Patrick Emmerling. 1,000-1 Bailey Curry, Stephon Parsons, Sage Karam, Ryan Vargas, Josh Belicki, Josh Williams, Joe Graff Jr., Jesse Awuji, JJ Yeley, Brendan Poole, Patrick Gallagher, and Gar Robinson. For this race, I'm going to go with Daniel Hemrick at 12-1. I think he's due to come through. So I'm going to go Daniel Hemrick 12-1 to win the Pit Boss 250. And last but not least, the Cup Series. From Coda, Sunday at 3:30. The Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix 2022. Chase Elliott's a plus 250 favorite. Kyle Larson's 3-1. At 10-1, you have Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch. 14-1, you have Austin Cindric. 16-1, you have Chase Briscoe, AJ Allmendinger, Denny Hamlin, Chris Bell. 19-1, you have William Byron and Ryan Blaney. 25-1, you have Ross Chaston, Joey Logano. 31, Alec Bowman, Tyler Riddick. 51, Kurt Busch. 70-1, Kevin Harvick. 80-1, you have Chris Buescher and Eric Jones. 100-1, you have Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, Michael McDowell, Justin Haley, Kaz Grala, Daniel Suarez, Cole Custer. 200-1, you have Eric Almirola, Todd Gilliland, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 300-1, you have Bubba Wallace, Harrison Burton. 500-1, Andy Lally, Ty Dillon, Corey LaJoie. 1,000-1, Boris Said, Maurice Haseman, Josh Belicki, Joey Hand, and Cody Ware. So for this race, I'm going to go with Martin Truex Jr. at 10-1. I think he's had some good history at courses like this. And I think that he'll continue his success on these type of courses. So I'm going to go Martin Truex Jr. at 10-1 to win the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix on Sunday. All right, now I'm going to do my Major League Baseball third base rankings. I did catchers Tuesday, first base Wednesday, second base yesterday, and today is going to be third base. All right, so 30, you have Kelvin Gutierrez of the Orioles, 29, Carter Kieboom Nationals, 28, Kevin Smith Athletics, 27, Andy Ibanez Rangers, 26, Josh Rojas Diamondbacks, 25, Jahmir Candelario Tigers, 24, Bobby Witt Jr. Royals, 23, Luis Arraez Twins, 22, Brian Anderson Marlins, 21, Patrick Wisdom Cubs, 20, Evan Longoria Giants, 19, Alec Boehm Phillies, 18, Cabrian Hayes Pirates, 17, Yandy Diaz Rays, 16, Luis Arias Brewers, 15, Mike Moustakas Reds, 14, Eduardo Escobar Mets, 13, Josh Donaldson Yankees, 12, Ryan McMahon Rockies, 11, Yoan Moncada White Sox, 10, Eugenio Suarez Mariners, 9, Justin Turner Dodgers, 8, Austin Riley Braves, 7, Jose Ramirez Guardians, 6, Matt Chapman Blue Jays, 5, Manny Machado Padres, 4, Anthony Rendon Angels, 3, Alex Bregman Astros, 2, Rafael Devers Red Sox, and number 1, Nolan Arenado St. Louis Cardinals. Third base is a deep position. A ton of All-Stars and a ton of former All-Stars. The top 15, you could all say, are above average at the position. For the most part. Barring injury slump. That is a solid 15. If you want to break it into tiers, I'm going to say 1 through 6 is a tier with Jose Ramirez right there. And And then you have Austin Riley, who's like the newcomer. You have the veterans in Turner and Suarez. And then you have Moncada, who's a little bit of a wild card. And you don't know like which version of Moncada you're going to get. And you have McMahon, who I think is poised for like a breakout type of year. So you put him with Moncada in that tier. And then 3 veterans that have all been on winning teams in the past, and Donaldson, Escobar, and Moustakis. So you could make a case for different orders of these certain like tiers of players on this list. But this is my list, my opinion. So you're entitled to your own opinion, as you know. But this was an interesting list to put together. And Monday will be shortstop. Tuesday will be left field. Wednesday will be center field. Thursday, right field. And Friday will be DH. And then the following week, Monday, you have starting pitchers. Tuesday will be closers. Wednesday we'll do the top 100 players. And then opening day is the following week. So it should be a lot of fun for sure. All right, now I'm going to recap Masked Singer from Wednesday night. I didn't get a chance to do it on the podcast yesterday. We're going to do Survivor next week because we just don't have a lot of time here. So it's the final 3 from Group A. 2 were unmasked, 1 survived. First up, one Thingamabout. He talks about how he didn't have much as a kid. There's a suitcase with a bull on it. Made people think there was a Chicago Bulls player. There's a kangaroo, a wrecking ball. And the performance was to Classic by Mitgo. In terms of guesses, Ken Jung said Liam Hemsworth, Robin Thicke said Jason Momoa, and Nicole Scherzinger said Doc Redman. I'm sorry, Dennis Rodman. Doc Redman I had in hockey, or golf in my head. What was that? Oh my God. I don't think people would know who Doc Redman is, but people know who Dennis Rodman is. Then went Cyclops. He said he went through a lot like growing up. There was a glass of milk. There's a statue of David. There's a lottery ticket with the number 15 on it. There's like a podcast like sign. He talks about how he was happy to be featured on his Idols album. And there's a fiddle. And Cyclops performed What a Feeling by Irene Cara. Ken said Dave Bautista. Jenny McCarthy said Zach Brown. And Robin said Dak Shepard. Firefly talks about how she loves to be center of attention. There's a picture of Kanye West. There was a lot of clothes. There was a fire extinguisher. There were like little fireworks that had TNT set on them. And then she performed Attention by Charlie Puth. Robin said Keisha Cole. Jenny said Ciara. Ken Jung said Alicia Keys. And Celebrity BFFs are back. And this one was JoJo Siwa, a.k.a. T-Rex from Season 3. And then they had the final showdown, which they all performed I Feel Good by James Brown. And everybody was great in that performance. But only one person survived. And the person that survived was Firefly. First unmasked on Wednesday night was Cyclops. My first impression guess was Willie Nelson. Oh my God. And my final guess was Nelly. Robin Thicke said Kevin Smith. Jenny McCarthy said Zach Brown. Ken Jung said Dave Bautista. Nicole said Michael Keaton. And who was it? Jorge Garcia. Yes. This was a very pleasant surprise. Actor, comedian. He was known for being in Alcaraz, and he was in the original 6. And he played a minor character on Once Upon a Time. And then he was on Hawaii Five-0 as Jerry Ortega. And he was on the cover of Weezer's 2010 album Hurley in a close-up shot. So that's where the album hint came from. And second unmasked was Thingamabob. This is a funny one, guys. My first impression guess was Will Smith because of the Philadelphia clues. And I was just thinking Prince of Bel-Air. And my final guess was Ben Simmons of the Brooklyn Nets, formerly of the Philadelphia 76ers, because of the Philly clues and how he mentions how nobody would expect him to be in The Masked Singer after what he went through. Jenny McCarthy said Michael Strahan. Ken Jung said Liam Hemsworth because of the Wrecking Ball clue. Because of Miley, obviously. Nicole said Dennis Rodman. Robin Thicke said J.J. Watt. And who was it? Philadelphia Eagles offensive tackle Jordan Mailata. I honestly think that this is the least famous contestant that's ever been on the show. And I love Mailata as a player. He's a really good player. Good story. He was a 7th round pick. He was in the in a rugby league for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. And then he ultimately decided to play football. So he was in rugby as well. And he's a very solid player. And so he's just going to be known as the guy that was randomly on The Masked Singer. But yeah, to me, this is the least famous person that's ever been on the show, even more so than Elvis Francois. Because Elvis Francois, everyone knew who he was because of the COVID quarantine show that they had. And he was playing music and singing with Nicole. Like, this is the least famous person ever on the show. I can't stress that enough. And I like Mailata. I love his story. He's a good player on the Eagles. But this is somebody that I would never expect to be on the show. And I don't think the judges knew who Mailata was, honestly. And I knew this could have potentially been a Philadelphia athlete because of the Philadelphia clue with the bell. And I was thinking potentially Carson Wentz. Like, I mean, at least people know who Carson Wentz is. I mean, it wasn't no way to be Joel Embiid. That's why I thought Ben Simmons made a ton of sense for this. And, of course, everyone knows who Bryce Harper is, too. So I can't dismiss that. And if I had to guess who Firefly is, I think it's Keisha Cole because of the big clue with the picture of Tyler Perry. And she was in a lot of songs with a lot of different artists. And she was a good feature in a lot of songs. She was in that song Last Night. She did a song with Kanye. And that's where that hint came from. So I'm going to go with Keisha Cole for the Firefly here. All right, now we're going to move on to news and notes for today. Not really much heading into the weekend. Frank Martin finalizing a deal to become UMass's coach. Obviously, no longer with South Carolina. He's now with UMass. So UMass gets a big name in there. And maybe they'll become a contender in Atlantic 10 again down the road. U.S. men's national team draws with Mexico 0-0. And they're still in position to qualify for the World Cup, so that is great news. Eric Musselman tells his team we're not done after celebrating upset win over Gonzaga. Musselman, he's so good, and that team is so good. It was so good to see that celebration. John Moran out 2 weeks due to tweaked knee. That's unfortunate for Memphis. I still think that they can win some games without him here in the regular season, but not in the playoffs. He needs to be back for the playoffs. Chris Paul came back last night against the Nuggets after the thumb injury. DeMar DeRozan missed yesterday's game due to an adductor strain. Grand jury decision on Deshaun Watson in Texas, and it declines to indict him on sexual misconduct complaint. I think there's going to be more to that. 2023 NFL draft date set in Kansas City from April 27th to the 29th of 2023. So good for Kansas City for landing an opportunity to host a draft. And speaking of the Chiefs, they signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling to a 3-year deal worth up to $36 million. I don't like that signing at all. Aaron Rodgers made him who he was. But then again, he'll continue to overachieve with Pat Mahomes. But the issue here is that he's no Tyreek Hill. Come on. They better draft a rookie wide receiver in the draft. And I think they will. And they do have a lot of other needs too. So it's going to be interesting to see where do the Chiefs go at receiver to help replace the production that Tyreek Hill had. And the last news to note item is that Andrew Miller is retiring after 16 years. Really good reliever. In the middle of last decade, he was on the Yankees, he was on the Cubs, he was on the Red Sox. And he was so dominant. Like, really, really, really dominant. And then Boston traded him in 2014. But I forget where to. So, great career. I remember he was on the Indians after he was on the Yankees too. But no, I don't think he was on the Cubs. He was on the Indians. That's what it was. But I know he's been on a lot of good teams in his career. He finishes with the Cardinals. So he started with the Tigers. Then he went to the Marlins. Then to the Red Sox. He was traded to the Orioles. Then he was on the Yankees. Then he was on the Indians. Then he signed with the Cardinals as a free agent. He was the AL reliever of the year in 2015 with the Yankees. 2013 World Series champion with the Red Sox. ALCS MVP with the Indians in 2016. And was an All-Star in 16 and 17 with the Yanks and the Indians. But he had a really good run in the middle of last decade. So congrats to Andrew Miller. Great career. And then the Oscars are on Sunday. There is going to be 3 hosts. Regina Hall, Amy Schumer, and Wanda Sykes. Pre-show hosts will be Vanessa Hudgens, Terrence J, and Brandon Maxwell. On most nominations, The Power of the Dog, 12. And it's up for Best Picture along with Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, and West Side Story. Best Director, Kenneth Branagh of Belfast. Drive My Car's Raisuke Hamaguchi. Licorice Pizza's Paul Thomas Anderson. Jane Champion of Power of the Dog. And Steven Spielberg of West Side Story. Best Actor, Javier Bardem of Being the Ricardos as Daisy Arnaz. Benedict Cumberbatch as Phil Burbank of The Power of the Dog. Andrew Garfield of Tick, Tick, Boom as Jonathan Larson. Will Smith as King Richard and Richard Williams. And Denzel Washington, The Tragedy of Macbeth as Lord Macbeth. Best Actress, Jess Chasten, The Eyes of Tammy Faye as Tammy Faye Baker. Olivia Colman, The Lost Daughter as Leda Caruso. Penelope Cruz, Parallel Mothers as Janice Martinez Moreno. Nicole Kidman, Being the Ricardos as Lucille Ball. And Kristen Stewart Spencer as Diana, Princess of Wales. So those are the three big ones, or the four big ones. And obviously you have Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Original Screenplay, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Animated Feature Film, Best International Film, Best Documentary Feature, Best Documentary Short Subject, Best Live Action Short Film, Best Animated Short Film, Best Original Score, Best Original Song, Best Sound, Best Production Design, Best Cinematography, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Costume Design, Best Film Editing, and Best Visual Effects. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. I'm going with a risky pick here. I'm going to take Southern Utah minus the 4 points against Portland in the Basketball Classic. Yesterday's best bet was a win with the over in Cleveland, Toronto in the NBA. But this is just such a layup. I'm laying those 4 points with Southern Utah. Half unit, -4, Southern Utah against Portland as my best bet of the day. All right, so we'll be back on Monday recapping everything from the weekend, from college basketball, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball spring training, Major League Soccer. Look ahead to everything on Monday. News and notes, NASCAR golf. American Idol will do Tuesday's show and Monday's show because the Hollywood Round begins Monday. And we have a little special show after the Oscars on Sunday night. So it should be a fun weekend and a fun week ahead coming up next week. Hope you guys have a great weekend, everyone.